Hey guys, in this video I am going to talk about how to write a stateless REST API server in Golang. I am going to start a project where I would going to be serving data about Pokemons. So this data would be stored in a Redis server and you will be writing a Golang based stateless API server which would be serving the users with a REST type interface for APIs and they will be able to fetch data about Pokemons. So this is something that I thought about making because I think the projects are the best way to learn something, and here you are going to learn how to use the net/http standard library, which is a very powerful library with a standard library of Golang. And in this video, I'm going to connect it with Redis, and you will be learning how to interface your API server with Redis and serve your users. So Redis is usually used as a caching database and it's not always the primary database, but for this example I am going to use it as my primary database for storing the data about Pokemons in JSON format as a key value pair, and I will be serving it to the users. So in this you will be going to learn the JSON decoding part also. So there are the three objectives of this: to first learn about the net/http library in Golang, second is to interface your Golang application with Redis, and the third is to learn about the handling of the routes and doing the JSON decoding and encoding part. In the upcoming videos, I would be posting more about how to use Redis as a cache database and how to shift into a better primary database, but this is just an example how to do it. So this will be the basics for that video, and you are going to learn how to pair up Redis, because in those videos I can focus on the best practices and the system design part of it and how you can improve your REST APIs. But in this case, you can go ahead and start watching this. So this is my terminal, and I am in my projects directory, and I have created a project directory called Pokemon where we are going to do this stuff. So here I just have one text file which is with extension .redis. If I open it with my NeoVim, you can see that there are a bunch of commands. If you're familiar with Redis, you will know that these are the commands which you use to set a key value pair. Redis is a key value pair database. If you want to know more about this, you can just go and search about Redis, and it will go to its website, and you can go and search about it, or you can ask ChatGPT about it. Redis is an in-memory database. It is very fast, and this is what we are going to use in here. So just to give an context, what it does it sets the value of this thing. I would say that this is our key, and this JSON format is our value which we are going to return. So the structure of the key that I have defined here is Pokemon, then we have a water type Pokemon, then we have a Squirtle, and it returns the name of it. It has a type of water, it has an XP, power, and level at which it is. So this is just I have defined here, and you can go ahead and install Redis. If you don't have it, again you can go to the Redis website and just download it. In my case I am using MacBook, so I can just go and do a brief install Redis. This is how you will install it, and I have already done it. So what I will do is go ahead and do Redis server, and I would have my Redis running in here. So what I can do is do cat pokemon.redis, and then I will push it into my Redis CLI. So all the commands will just go into my Redis into here, and they will be set, all the values will be set into that server. Now all the key value pairs are already defined. Now we have a server with all the Pokemon data we need, and now we are ready to build our API server. So what I will do is first start a project. So I will do go mod init, and I will name it Pokemon, and it created a new module called Pokemon. Then I will go ahead and do a main.go, and I will start with a package. And I will name it as a main package for me, and I will import. Now there are a couple of things we need to import in here. First is we need a lot of JSON handling. So I will get it from JSON. This is the standard library for it. We'll import the format library for printing purposes. on the screen and logging the that we have started the server or anywhere I need it. Then I will just get my log directory, log module in here. Then I will import the hero of today, which is net/http. This is the standard library, which is a very powerful API server library. So I will go ahead and now I will import the package that will be handling Redis. So I will do Redis github.com, go Redis. This is something that you will, this whole code you will find in my GitHub, link in the description. So you can import this thing. I just made a spelling mistake. Redis, okay. And then you can go ahead and import context that we are soon going to use, and I will explain it what it is used for. So this is something that we are not able to import. So I will go and do go mod tidy, and it will find the Go module and it will just install it. And now you can see that it just says that we haven't used it, but yeah, we are going to use it. So I will first declare the context. This is something that Redis is going to demand, and again you can go ahead and read the docs for how you can configure Redis with this thing and why it needs context. So we will be giving it a background context, and we will be moving ahead and doing creating a Redis client. Now this Redis client will be a pointer to redis.client, and this thing we are going to, these are globally declarable variables. I will just write it down, global variables. So these are accessible from any function and anywhere in the code. So let's I will just make an init function. Now here we are going to initialize our Redis server, so that when the code is executed, when the binary is first executed, this is the function that is executed in the first place. So I will get my Redis client and start defining it. So I will do Redis client, and already my LSP is showing it that I should do new client, and we will have and options, I mean redis.options, and you can just go ahead and write the address, which will be localhost. And since I am running my server on localhost and I have my port here, I will just take it and have it here. So this is my URL for that, and my DB is something that I will set to default, which is 0. And then I will move ahead, and now this is the init function. I will comment it down here, init function to start the Redis server. Just click here, and then before defining any function, I will do a type declaration of what a Pokemon looks like. A Pokemon object for us is, I will just declare a struct. Now struct is something that you should know about. A struct is a collection of different data types and values. So this is something that would be used to define what a Pokemon is. So this is like our Pokemon, and it has a lot of characteristics, like its name. I will just keep writing here. It has a name, which is a string, and the string is of JSON type. So this is something that I should specify here, which is of type JSON, and it will have a field called name. Okay, so now I will have type. The type of Pokemon will be like a string again, and I will identify it with this thing. I will just give a space here for better consistency, and I will just write type here. Then I need an XP. It will be again an integer. I shouldn't put these things here because Go doesn't allow you to do that. I will just go here and put integer, and I will go and ahead and do JSON, and in this thing JSON it will be like a small XP. Now we need power. Power is something, so for better consistency I will just push this ahead, and I don't think we have any more long things. We have power and level, so I will just put here string, and I will get JSON and to power for this thing. Then I would have level, and I will define a string in here, and again I will have this JSON set to I would say level. yeah, I will write it down. Then I will just go down, and now let's define the main function. From here we are going to make our handlers. First, I think it's always best to first start writing the handlers before you start it. And in this case, what I will be calling is the HTTP and do handler func. Now, the endpoint that I want is the any type. Like what I will be doing is if you call this water endpoint, it will be fetching you all the water Pokemons that are in our Redis database. So now I will go ahead and define this endpoint, and then I will pass a function here, and that function will have an http.response writer and R, which is a request handler. So this is a pointer that you have to pass, http dot request. It will contain the request parameters that are coming from the user, and what I will do is just go ahead and define this thing. I will pull it back, and here I have to define a function that will be handling here. So I will be doing like handle Pokemon type. What I will do is pass it my response writer, where I will be writing my response. I will be giving it the request which is user has sent me, and which I will be processing, and I will just put here like it's a water Pokemon. So that I can just go ahead and define here a function which can handle Pokemon type. It will be taking http dot response writer. I will go ahead and just remove this tab indentation, and this will be taking and I will name it W, which is like a name convention we use here in Go. You can name it anything. Then we have a HTTP response handler, which will be again a pointer to get the request, and then we will be declaring it, and there is no return type for that. It's just an handler, and also we need to define the type. I will name it Pokemon type, which is obviously a string. I'm not declaring it here. Let's first go ahead and define these endpoints first. And I will just copy this thing. And again we have quite a lot of Pokemons here, so I will just write it down and change these things. Now it's electric. I will also change this thing. I have electric one, then I have grass type Pokemons. And I also have some legendary Pokemons here. Legendary, which obviously we all like. I will just open another tab here and open my Pokemon.redis, and I have fire Pokemons. I didn't add them. I'll just go ahead and again copy this thing, do yank in new vim, paste it again, and I will include the fire Pokemon. We'll just do pi, delete it, do a fire Pokemon. Now we also have electric, fire, water has been defined. We have dragon type Pokemons, we have dark Pokemons, rock Pokemons. So I think for this example it's enough to have this much. You can go ahead and enter everything that you want in here for fun. You can again deploy it wherever you want, and I will just close this up, and we will go to the real deal of writing this API server. So what I will do is first we have all the handlers defined now. At this point I will assume that we have every endpoint, and then I will move ahead, just do a print ln that we are starting Pokemon API server on port 8080. this is just for our reference when we start the API server. It's a good practice, and if we find any issue, like first I will do a log.fatal, and I will have http listen and serve. You can use TLS if you're using HTTPS. In this case I'm not, and let's just keep it simple. If you want anything to learn about this, important thing is you just go ahead, and Go has really nice docs, I would say, for every packages. You can just go ahead and do http slash net slash http library in here, and you can move ahead. And these docs are really good. Actually they look a little bit intimidating, but what you can do is just go here and find the handle func. And as you can see in this handle func, you can you have the pattern which we defined here. We have the handler function. You can go ahead and see the type definition here. Like here you have the response writer, so you have headers into here. You can see what headers look like in this context, and you have the right part and the right header part, which is something that you would be referring a lot when you will be going into complex routing stuff. I definitely recommend you to read this. And this is the listen and serve. So you have the address here and you have the handler. So this is the open source.google. You can go ahead and read it. This has been created by them, so they have included it here, and I will have it in 8080. So you can put it here localhost or something, but I don't think we need it here. Let's keep it simple. They are just by default, Go assumes that you are going with localhost, and we'll go ahead. And this is what it will be starting to. This is the part where it will start to it will start. It's the API server, and now we have this thing, and I think we have double. We don't need this. Just a second. Just remove this. Okay, now all the errors are clear. Okay, now the important part. This is the handle Pokemon type. So now we know that you have already defined this Pokemon struct. So this is something that we are going to use, and we have the Redis thing connected, and we will be interacting with Redis in here. So this is handle Pokemon type. Now we are defining the handler. So what I will do is I want the Pokemons, so I will take it, and this error handling thing is something special in Go. What I will do is first get Pokemon by type. It would be better to have this thing defined into another function, as I think, and I can just put Pokemon type in here, which is undefined right now. So I will just go ahead and define it first. Do Pokemon get Pokemon by type, and I will be passing it a string, and it will return me a bunch of Pokemons, and I want that thing into a list or slice, to be more precise in Golang, of a Pokemon which has been defined in here. So it will be listing a lot of Pokemons, and also I would have errors which I have to propagate. So error propagation is one of the best things that Go does on its side. And again, let's just do a return, and in that return I will define Pokemons, which obviously I have to define first, and I will return nil, because if we reach this point we don't have any specific errors with us. Let's just go ahead and first define this thing. If error is not equal to nil, if this get Pokemon returns does not return nil, that means it has failed, and we need to consider this. So in that http dot error, I will have the response writer. I will say that failed to fetch data, and then http.status. You have a lot of statuses, but I think here internal server error is the best, because it's an error from our side. Status internal server error, which is a 500 error, of course. We'll go and do a return, and in case it doesn't fail, we'll give a JSON response. So this is a function that we need to define now, and I will be returning the response writer and Pokemons. Again, let's write a function of JSON response, And what we'll be taking here is the response writer and bunch of Pokemons, which is a slice full of Pokemons. And it is something that will not return anything. It will go ahead and just process the request and send it in a JSON format. So first of all, we need to set headers. So what we'll do is w.headers, as you saw in this, let me explain it again. You have this pattern, you have this response writer. So if we go into response writer, we have the header function here. You can go ahead and read everything of this. I have read it already. And you can go into this headers part, and you can see here that you have all kind of functions that are already defined. These are all interfaces that are already defined. And what we have to do is you can go ahead and we need to set some of our own headers. So I will just go ahead and just get the headers out, and we'll do a set. So first of all, the basic thing is content type. This is something that browser will be interpreting, and it's a good practice for REST APIs to have this. And we will just go and first check if error. We will first have the error part, and we will first encode it. Now we have already imported the standard library, and we will do JSON encoder, and I will put the request handler here and response writer here, then encode all the data. Go ahead and do if error is not equal to nil. I will http.error, and I will pass the error that failed to encode data. As easy as that. http. I would have to pass a status code. I will do internal server error because it's an error from our site. And then we have the this thing here, and my bad here. I should first give it data, and this data will be sent into interface, which is an interface from its side. It is any generic interface, so this interface will be pushed here and it will be encoded, and the JSON encoder takes this, the encode part of it takes any interface, so it's independent of what type of data, which kind of data type you are having here. So we are done with the response handler. I will write a comment here that it's a JSON response, JSON's response encoder, and it will send the data. Now if everything goes well, first the request will come here. It will be water Pokemon or electric or grass or legendary, anything. It will go into handle Pokemon type. It will have the response writer. It will have the request. It will have the Pokemon type. So it will go ahead and get Pokemon by type. And if there is no error, it will call the JSON response. It will set the headers, the application/JSON, and it will go ahead and if encode it. And if there are no error, it will be returning the data. And if there is an error, it will be pushing a fail to encode, and it will throw an internal server error. So let's go ahead and define it here. So I left it for last because this part includes dealing with Redis. So this is something I need to explain in more details. So what is the first thing that we are going to do is we will first get all the keys, and first I will get keys, and again for error propagation, first I will go to my Redis client and say I want all the keys, and I will pass some context which has been defined as global variable in previous time. Then I will go and just do an sprint which is a format string, and I will format a string like I have a Pokemon. I don't know its I would say I don't know its type, but what I will do is I will show you here. You can open the Pokemon.redis so that we can see the commands, and in this commands we have the type here before the name. So the middle one is the type. So now we don't know the type, so we are just asking for every type of Pokemon they have. So I will go here, and I don't know its name, but I know its type. I want which kind of type I want. It has been already given here. So, I would write here as the Pokemon type. Go ahead and first specify that it's a Pokemon type, and I will go ahead and do dot result. I will fetch the result, and it says that error is declared not. We will do it. So if error is not equal to nil, what you have to do is return that we have nil Pokemons, but we have an error. This is how error propagation will work in this case. We have the return, and the spelling is wrong. It happens a lot of time. Then I will go ahead, and if all the keys have been found, I will define Pokemons, and which we are going to return as a slice of Pokemon. And for every keys, for every this is kind of function iteration in Golang. You can go ahead and study about it. It just says that for every this is the this index, and this is the value. So index value pair in the range of every keys that we have found. What we want to do is we first want to get the data and error. Now what we have here is we now have every imagine that we have water here, so we have every water Pokemon in here, and now what I want is to get the Redis client and get the value of first the context itself, and I want all the Pokemons and the result from it. So if error, now what it will be returning is, I will explain it in a while. Before first let me just do the error handling part, and I will return nil and error if there is an error, of course. What it does is let me fix this Pokemon. Yeah, now I will just open my Pokemon.redis and I will push it into B. Now what this keys have is, it has we are told that we want all the water Pokemon, so this whole thing is into it. So all the keys, Pokemon Water Squirtle, Pokemon Water Psyduck, Gyarados, Vaporeon and Totodile, we have all these Pokemon's keys with us, and for each key we want the value of their own powers. So I will take these powers and I will first define it. I will give that Pokemon an identity by saying it is a Pokemon by declaring a P, and again if that I want to first convert that P thing into valid data structure in Golang, because now here it is in a JSON format, but I want to get it into this format like name, type, XP, power and level. Here it is like a name, type, and this is a string format, so I want to convert it into the Pokemon structure. So what I will do is first I will declare if error and do a JSON decode, JSON or let me say unmarshal. I want to unmarshal, and I would do a byte, because all the data is going to be in bytes, and I will be pushing here the data itself, and I will copy it everything into the memory location of that Pokemon. So it's by reference. So if error is not equal to nil, I will just go ahead and quit this so that I can focus on this part. And then if it is not equal to nil, what I will do is return nil, because we don't have any Pokemon, and I will return the error for error propagation. And if that Pokemon has been valid, then I will do Pokemons is equal to append to this list of Pokemons in here in the slice itself. So I will do Pokemons and I will append my new Pokemon into this, and I will be returning it. So now I can go ahead and extract everything. Build main, and the binary has been built, and I will go ahead and do run this main thing, and the moment of truth, I will run it. Okay, there is a panic. It says conflicts with pattern water. This / water matters with water. So I think I have defined it 2 times. Yeah, exactly. I will just remove it and write it again, and do go build main dot go. Clear it. Go ahead and run the main thing, and we have started this API server. So I will open new tab and do a curl request, and it will be of get type http / local host 8080 as it says, and we have defined it water, and I will pass it into JQ for better this, and it is giving an error. So what I will do is just get the fail to fetch data. So the water type Pokemon isn't been this, so what I will do is go back. Integer string, and this level needs to be integer, and let's try to build it again. This instruction is JSON name not compatible with reflect struct tag dot get, bad syntax for string. So we have 10 warnings in here, and I can only see this much. Let's just go ahead and run it. And it works. This is what happens like every time you're developing, and I just thought I shouldn't cut this part from the video, because this is the reality. Like, you are never going to write the code and it's going to run on the first time, even if you have a lot of experience. So now you have all the water Pokemons here, like the Totodile, the Gyarados, Psyduck, Squirtle, Vaporeon, and let's just go ahead and do it for fire Pokemons, fire, and do a JQ. And you have all the fire Pokemons in here. So it's Arcanine and Magmar and all those Charmander and all. So we have all their XPs, the type, the power level. So yeah, this is the API server, now it's running. So this was the whole part about building this REST API. I know the end was like panic, and my NeoBIM was throwing some warning errors because I haven't been updating it. I don't have that much time right now. But yeah, this is how you go ahead and implement a REST-based API into Golang and interface it with Redis. So this is like a mini project that I have done here to just explain a lot of concepts into this, which are going to be the basics for the upcoming videos. So yeah, I hope you like it, and I'm going to post a lot of videos on Golang in the future about every other context, and this will be, hopefully going to be awesome. So yeah, I hope you like it. Bye bye.